All right, everybody, today we're going to be finding the total surface area of a pyramid. For those of you wondering why Mr. Mendez is up at 1:47 in the morning, I actually started to make the video earlier, but the computer automatically reset, so it started me from scratch. Fun night for Mr. Mendez. Let's go ahead and stop griping, though, and start working. We got the number 13. Which is pretty much written out in your homework, but for those of you doing the video, let me spell it out for you. We are taking the formula, the base plus 1/2 times the perimeter times the lateral surface. Well, the base of this triangular pyramid has been given to us because this line is going to the middle part of the base. So the base is 35.1. We're going to add that to 1/2 the perimeter times the lateral surface. Well, the perimeter is 9 by 9 by 9. That's really just 9 times 3, right? Because we add up the length of the outside to find the perimeter. So we know that this perimeter is going to be 27. And the lateral surface is 12. That's given to us. So now we have all the components for our formula. Well, I know that 1/2 times 12, well, that's half of 12, and that's 6. So we really have 27 times 6. If I take 27, which I have already here, and I multiply it to 6, that's going to give me, well, that's 42. And then that's 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 plus 4 is 16. So that will give me 162. And we're going to have to add 35.1 to that. Well, the 1 comes down, decimal. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus 3 is 9. And 1 comes down. We have 197.1 meters square. Remember, we're talking about surface area. We're talking about square units. So the answer number 13 should be 197.1 meters square. Let's go to number 15 now. And before we go any further, let's just go ahead and get the code word out of the way. Today, to help Mr. Mendez stay awake, I've got some plantered, slightly salted mixed nuts. So we've got planters. Lightly salted. Mixed nuts. All right, so if I see that code word written on your homework, I know that you watched the video. But for right now, let's go ahead and get that off the screen for all the people that we don't want just looking up the code word and moving on. Now, going back to number 15. Once again, I'm going to use my formula, which is the base plus 1/2 times the perimeter times the lateral surface. So this time the base is going to be a square, or if we wanted to say a parallelogram, either one. And we follow the same formula, which is length times width. Well, that's 15 times 15. Well, 15 times 15 should give us about 225. Let me make sure about that. It's been a while since I did this one. That's going to be 25, carry the 2, and that's going to be 7. Okay. Then we put a 0 here and put 15. And that's going to give me 5, 225. So our base is 225. I'm going to add that to 1/2 times the perimeter. The perimeter is actually 15 by 15 by 15 by 15, so that's 15 times 4. And that's going to give me 60. So we're going to multiply 1/2 to 60. And then the lateral surface is 18. And now I've got all the components again that I need to solve this. Well, I could take 1/2 of 18. 1/2 of 18 is 9. And now I've got 60 times 9. Well, 6 times 9 is 54. So 60 times 9 must be 540. And I have to add that to 225. Oh, if I put that down there to make it easier on myself. I see that I have 765. And that would be centimeters square. So the area to this square-based pyramid is 765 centimeters square. All right, let's go to number 17, because I left number 14 and 16 for you to do. A square pyramid has a slant height of 4 2/3 feet. The base has a side length of 2 1/4 feet. Find the surface area. Well, again, we're going to use that formula. The base plus 1/2 times the perimeter times the lateral surface. The base this time, we see that the base has sides of 2 1/4. If I was to draw this out then as a square base pyramid, that means every one of these sides length is 2 1/4. Right? And the slant height, that means this height going down here, right, is going to be 4 2/3. Right? And let's put our formula together now. We know that the base of a square is going to be, 2 1/4 times 2 1/4. So if I put that over here, 2 1/4 times 2 1/4, right? I'd have to turn them to improper fractions. That's actually going to be 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So this is really 9/4 times 9/4. And 9 times 9 is 81. 4 times 4 is 16. And 81 divided by 16, let's get our calculator out and try that one. 81 divided by 16 is going to give us 5.0625. 5.0625. That's our base. We're going to add that to 1/2 times the perimeter. Well, the perimeter is 2 1/4 plus 2 1/4 plus 2 1/4 plus 2 1/4. So basically the perimeter is 2 1/4 times 4. Well, again, we turn this into an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. And now we have 9/4 again times, well, if I turn this into a fraction, improper fraction, be 4/1, right? Because any number over 1 is itself. I can use the butterfly method to get rid of my 4's and turn them into 1. And suddenly I have 9/1. Because 9 times 1 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. And so we have 9 as our perimeter. Now we have to take the lateral surface, which is 4 2/3. 4 2/3. Well, if I was to put 4 2/3 in my calculator, well, 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 plus 2, that's 14. So this is really 14 over 3. And if I put that in my calculator, (14) divided by 3 gives me, oh Lord, 4.6 repeating. All right, I'm going to start with my number that's repeating as I multiply everything together. So 4.6 repeating times 9, and then divided by 2. That's going to give us 21. What happened here? And we're going to have to add 21 to 5.0625. So I guess I could just put this over here, line up my decimals. And now I'm ready to add. And this would be 5 to 6, 0.6 and 2, 26.0625. And remember, we're rounding everything to the nearest tenth, according to this paper, the nearest tenth. So I've got to move everything until this number here, and I see that this 6 is bigger than 5, so that means this is really going to be 26.1. And since we were talking about feet, this would be 26.1 feet squared. All right, I'm off to number 19. It says complete the organizer below to help you remember what each part of the formula for the surface area of the pyramid represents. First part points to the B, and we know that's the base, right? The base area. Okay. Next, we have the L, and remember that L is going to be that the slant height, right? The height coming slanted down from the top to 90 degrees to the bottom. So I'm going to put the slant height. And the last one is the P, which is the perimeter of the base, right? So I'm going to put base perimeter. And that is it. I've done all the odds. I've left the evens for you. Good luck, and I'll see you in class.